It's great to speak with you today, Richard. And this is going to be an interesting topic on realizing true value out of analytics.
Thank you, Dustin. I appreciate the time.
And my first question is, before we start, can you provide a brief background of yourself?
Certainly. My formal training is in operations research industrial engineering, and I have been involved with analytics for 27 years. I started after my graduate work at Georgia Tech to work for AT&T Western Electric, then moved down to what was become Bell South, part of the regulated Bell operating companies for Bell South, and that was also in the area of analytics, creating supply chain systems for operation of that company, and then became president of CAPS Logistics, and CAPS was the forerunner for supply chain optimization. So we began the world of looking at different ways that people could redesign their networks and be more efficient for companies like Coca-Cola, Waste Management, and other companies. So I've been in the field for quite a long time. Competitive Insights is now focused on taking analytics to a higher level, if you will, and truly trying to make them part of everyday decisions in a company.
Thank you. So my first question is, how should supply chain data be used effectively?
It's a great question. Supply chain data has a wealth of information. It's truly a gold mine if it can be used correctly. And so basically what you have, if you think about products that are being sourced or manufactured anywhere in the world, through all the ways that they traverse a network and move into each of the regions they're being sold, there's a lot of data that is associated with the movement of those products and the activities associated with that, until finally they get to the actual delivery to the end customer. So being able to effectively handle that data, to look at ways to better manage the business, and especially in new and growing fields like e-commerce, is going to be the difference between winning and losing for a lot of companies. So supply chain data is a great source of that information if you can use it effectively in the various forms of analytics that are appropriate for your business.
Why isn't it being done?
Another great question. If you think about the operation of any company, generally speaking, that operation has a variety of different systems that are involved. You'll have your point of sale systems, you'll have obviously your transportation systems, third parties that are involved and help you run your supply chain, and then all of your warehouse management and other systems. So there's a whole host of systems, and even when companies have ERP systems, enterprise resource planning systems, it's very rare that all the data that is associated with that operation is in that one system. So what we find is we find silos of data, especially if they've grown through acquisition. They may have different versions of software, and people have found it to be difficult in order to be able to get that kind of value out of it because of the fact that it is siloed. So the second big issue that's a handicap in the process for a lot of companies is, even if they do have a way to tie the data together and be able to create that one version of the truth, if you will, that getting the organization to have consensus that the information is correct is another major hurdle. So it's one thing to be able to have all the data together. It's another to make sure that people are going to trust the information. Because if they don't trust the information, then it's really not actionable, because people will question the decisions that are being made, and you'll find yourself being in somewhat of a stalled pattern, if you will. So those are two major obstacles that are handicaps, but can certainly be overcome if you put your focus on those efforts.
And can you share where you've seen some success?
Absolutely. What we've seen with regard to really getting value out of analytics is across multiple industries. I'll cite two. One is in specialty apparel. When you think about how fast the actual products can change in specialty apparel, and the fact that they have very extended supply chains where they have manufacturing of the cloth, the cutting centers, etc., as it goes through the actual finished goods process, it is a very complex supply chain. And being able to have the visibility of understanding the cost components associated with all of those by every product that you're actually bringing to the market can be a huge gain with regard to understanding not only why performance is working one way in one channel versus another from a profit perspective or a financial perspective, but also thinking to the future with regard to if we make certain changes, what can we anticipate seeing in this particular style or this particular channel. So specialty apparel has been a really big area to adopt this. Another one is specialty pharma. And it's a completely different type of supply chain. You have cold chain, you have a variety of different requirements in order to be able to handle pharmaceutical products. But again, the same thing about having visibility when it goes across channels, being able to use the data from a variety of different sources, and then being really smart about making decisions with regard to how to increase the service for customers while also increasing profitability. Another big area that I'm sure that a lot of people would be interested in is e-commerce. So as we all know, that's a rapidly growing area for most businesses. And a lot of people are trying to think through how to get their hands around e-commerce and how to actually make money at e-commerce. So having this type of visibility and using the appropriate analytics to help answer the questions is a huge advantage if companies embrace that and take advantage of that.
Well, thank you for sharing today, Richard, and look forward to staying in touch for if you have other topics we can share with the community.
Thank you, Dustin. I'd be more than happy to do that, and I do appreciate your time.